Walk-offs, Hail Marys, stoppage time winners. These are some of the greatest moments in sports. BattleBots has its own type of buzzer beater, the late knockout. And in World Championship 7, we got 3. But other sports with or without those late moments still have a decisive, definitive result.
Antoine Bolden! Huge moment for Manchester United.
In this sport, we might get an uncertain judge's decision. Or would we? Today we're going to revisit those 3 buzzer beaters, but judge and score them as if the late knockout never even happened.
Alright, so our first fight of the series is Lockjaw versus Mad Catter.
This one ended up having a significant impact on seeding for the bracket.
I'll be honest, I don't remember this fight at all. This is not quite a record for number of bullshit mini-bots, like, running around, because there's 3 in this one, it seems.
Mad Catter coming out being more aggressive, but... Oh... There goes... Was that the drone?
Oh, there goes the drone. That's 1. And I think the fire spitter's gone too.
Ooh, good shot right on the wheel. Right on the wheel. He's f***ed it pretty bad.
Oh, that's a fire.
Take a shot. Lockjaw takes wheel damage.
Probably a stronger start from Mad Catter here, I'd say. Oh, and as soon as I say that, Lockjaw, huge hit there. Oh, Mad Catter's hurt.
Mad Catter cannot drive straight at all.
And Mad Catter's already in trouble after, like, first 30 seconds.
Lockjaw not really taking advantage, though.
Well, hit him. Just, what are you doing?
And Donald's kind of hanging back, because I can't imagine he wants to screw with the weapon on Mad Catter.
Lockjaw, do something. Hit him!
He kind of goes in, but he doesn't get actual contact.
Mad Catter's gotta be in the lead at this point, because Lockjaw hasn't done anything.
I get why Donald's, like, leery about just going in with the weapon, but then, oh boy, that's where... That's the moment.
Oh, he's back! Oh, look out!
Oh, its drive just randomly... The drive just randomly came alive.
And it's like, his weapon goes, Catter's stuck against the wall, I guess.
Mad Catter's moving worse than earlier.
Lockjaw starts smoking again, because of course it does.
Lockjaw's weapon's dead. That's gonna make it really interesting, actually.
Okay, and that's where it ended. Not a lot of time left on that. Calvin's using a step stool.
Mad Catter's taking a lot of damage, but Lockjaw just hasn't done anything.
If this goes the whole 3 minutes, like, it's a pretty obvious decision for Lockjaw.
I don't know. Damage? I mean, Mad Catter obviously took more damage.
We're just gonna say he's got enough movement to last a few more seconds.
Catter gets a couple of good hits early on. Half the fight, it's barely mobile. It's avoiding being counted out.
It was crippled for half the fight, came back alive for 1 hit, and then immediately died again.
The weapon is not moving. Lockjaw stops his. Or does it stop?
Lockjaw seems to have no weapon at the end, and the wheel, that front right, is somewhat shredded.
One bot is, like, completely not moving and has been struggling the entire fight. The other loses its weapon, maybe.
It's dead there, and even moves the other way. Okay, so there's definitely damage to it, but it looks like it could still spin.
I don't know if this warrants 4-1.
4-1 Lockjaw on damage.
I don't know. I don't think that warrants 4-1.
I think Lockjaw has effectiveness damage in weapon and drive. Mad Catter has effectiveness damage in drive, but functionality damage in weapon.
Like, even if its weapon went down in the final couple seconds, I don't think it matters.
I think with the weapon down, Lockjaw has taken some serious functionality damage, I believe is what it is.
I think maybe the fact that Lockjaw's weapon has some sort of damage is enough to only make this at max damage 3-2 for Lockjaw.
3-2. If Lockjaw's weapon was still running at the end, the only thing wrong with it was the wheel. I'd probably say it was 4-1.
No matter how many hits from the judge's crack pipe they're taking, they couldn't screw this one up.
All right, aggression.
While Mad Catter was aggressive for a majority of the time that it could be, somewhat early on in the fight, kind of became unable.
Once Mad Catter's drive went, they couldn't be aggressive except for that random moment where he got the extra attack.
When Lockjaw can start out maneuvering you, that's the thing.
And then it wouldn't do anything. It didn't do anything with the attacks.
Lockjaw had more opportunity to be aggressive. They didn't really take advantage of it, did they?
I think that's also Donald Hudson knows full well that if he goes like weapon to weapon, there's a good chance that something breaks on Lockjaw, and that's it.
I would say it has to be 2-1 Mad Catter still, because even when Mad Catter was crippled, Lockjaw didn't take advantage almost at all. There was like a good 45 seconds where Lockjaw would get like a little tiny glancing blow.
Was it like after the opening exchanges, it wasn't even close.
So I'd have to say that Mad Catter wins aggression 2-1.
2-1 aggression for Lockjaw?
I feel like Lockjaw still has to win aggression because Mad Catter couldn't drive at him. That's such a big part of it.
And control. Control's a weird one.
Again, if Mad Catter unable to drive, that's a lack of control.
I feel like Lockjaw crushed this fight.
Lockjaw didn't have much control either, especially when a lot of the hits were Mad Catter hits in the beginning stages.
Mad Catter was in control when it was alive, but it wasn't exactly fully operational for a good chunk of the fight.
I could honestly potentially see 3-0 control.
Lockjaw doesn't have much more control than Mad Catter, but you can't have a tie, so it's got to be 2-1.
3-0 control for Lockjaw. Like that'd be a bit of a stretch.
I mean, losing half your drive for half the fight, maybe more, is pretty damning.
The damage he took hurt him in every category.
I think Lockjaw wins the JD either way. From a visual standpoint, I think most people would say that Mad Catter would have won had it had hung on, but I think just because of the criteria, I think that Lockjaw would win, because I don't think you can overcome losing half your drive for half the fight.
But yeah, that's what I'd say. I'd say 4-1 damage, 2-1 and 2-1 for aggression control.
7-4 for Lockjaw.
Or you could go back and say that Lockjaw probably won 4-1 damage if you wanted to. I think Lockjaw wins the JD 6-5 one way or the other.
Okay, Black Dragon Riperoni. So this is opening of the tournament, eh?
This one I'm really eager to go through.
I remember this being a wonderful fight.
Yeah, so like opening hits, like
Now it looks weapon to weapon, but ooh, that's a solid Riperoni hit.
Big shot from Riperoni. Another big shot from Riperoni.
Whether or not it's a little bit of both of them getting the hit, it looks like Riperoni comes off better. Not on that one.
I think a lot of people are probably thinking like, yep, this is it. Riperoni's taking control of the fight. It's got the weapon and Black Dragon's weapon's down.
Oh, I love that hit.
Black Dragon's weapon seems to be down, at least for the moment. Thunderous shot after thunderous shot from Riperoni.
Black Dragon's getting back in it a little bit, but the weapon being dead now means any hit is a Riperoni hit.
This is Black Dragon's secret weapon. It's so durable.
A very interesting acrobatic move there.
Pizza's pouring it on. Another little jab, and a jab, and the flames!
Oh, and a fire breaks out in Black Dragon.
There were 2 minutes into this fight, and Black Dragon is on fire. It's pushing around. It's putting on. It's fighting hard.
What would be a Brazilian-style pizza? Comment below. Okay, now Riperoni's definitely having the problems because the part went flying off.
And I think this is when Riperoni's wheel starts to see the light a little bit.
This is the moment where things start to go wrong for Riperoni. You can see the left side drives out.
I love their passion so much. I love those guys. They look like chill dudes.
Still somewhat moving.
Riperoni's in trouble. They're trying to get off that shelf, but
Now here's where it's dicey because don't you have limited time to get off the shelf?
like I'm gonna be honest, I probably would have counted them out faster than this.
It just couldn't hold on for the full 3 minutes. It was just so close.
So I guess just assume Riperoni
Maintains like the one tire,
gets off the shelf.
and it's able to sort of wiggle its way off.
Black Dragon maybe runs into him once and that's it.
And if this had gone to a JD, this is going to be a tough one because
Well. Let's start with damage.
damage is hard. It was really hard.
Weapons gone. Wedgelets take damage.
Black Dragon lost its weapon like 30 seconds in the match.
The bot is belching fire.
Of course, you can count some armor damage, some armor shots that added up over time. The forks took a beating.
At the end of the fight, Riperoni's lost all drive.
And like Riperoni loses one side of drive the whole fight.
Riperoni has a working weapon, but can't drive properly. They could gyro and make it work, but we don't see it happen a lot.
It does seem to be sort of twitch moving, but it's not enough to actually stop the count.
Riperoni probably gets 4-1 damage.
Damage would go to Riperoni. 3-2, nothing more, nothing less.
Does Riperoni's early damage count more because it affected more of the fight?
Maybe something less. Could it go 3-2 to Black Dragon?
It loses one side of drive compared to full weapon, obvious visual fire in this theoretical situation.
It's a 3-2 at worst for Riperoni.
He's on fire. Like, that's huge. That's a big deal. That means internal damage.
After further review, the judging criteria on the BattleBots website says nothing about damage that was caused early in the fight, meaning anything more.
His weapon is down and there's internal damage, whereas Riperoni is struggling with his drive.
So I think that Riperoni's drive being completely dead probably counts for more for Black Dragon than Black Dragon's weapon being down.
So I think Riperoni would have to edge it 3-2.
I think Riperoni's drive counts a little more, so I said it's Black Dragon 3-2.
Black Dragon probably takes aggression.
This one's going to be interesting because Black Dragon certainly put up a fight.
Or actually, no, I'm not even sure it does.
Because Black Dragon was more physically aggressive, I guess. But
he loses the weapon early, and aggression has so many parts of it that talk about aggression with an active weapon.
Riperoni was on top of it for most of the fight.
And so many of those hits end up being Riperoni hits because of that.
it also lost its weapon 30 seconds into the fight. Even if it does keep running into Riperoni, the dead weapon. I mean, Riperoni's got the weapon the whole time.
I think Black Dragon was aggressive. I don't think it was enough to overcome the amount of aggression that Riperoni was showing.
In fact, I've got it in my notes here. The count for actual weapon hits.
Even if Black Dragon's faster, they're both facing each other and driving at each other.
Riperoni had a lot of small ones, but I've got 25-8.
I think Riperoni wasn't running away enough for Black Dragon to overcome its weapon being gone for more than 2/3 of the fight.
And by that, I think it has to be 2-1 Riperoni for aggression.
So probably 2-1 aggression for Riperoni.
I'd have to say aggression swings 2-1 for Riperoni.
And then maybe Black Dragon takes control.
There were definitely more hits for Riperoni that would have resulted in Black Dragon, flying away.
This entire fight pretty much hangs in the balance of control.
But there were a few where Riperoni bounced back.
Because in the second half, it was on it and controlling it around more.
It flanked Riperoni a few times and got to flip over a good amount in the last minute, maybe minute and a half.
Riperoni goes on the shelf with 35 seconds left. That's a sixth of the fight, where it is clear Black Dragon has the control.
But the first 2 minutes, Riperoni crushes them.
It lost a lot of control once its weapon died, and it kind of went face-on with Riperoni, and then got flipped over a few times.
There is a good 50 seconds of the fight where Riperoni's either on the shelf at the end or getting pushed around by Black Dragon.
Like, it's a squeaker. That last minute does help Black Dragon a lot.
You could argue Black Dragon takes control 2-1.
I think that Black Dragon honestly loses control here.
In fact, that's what I'm going to put on my card.
It's probably like 3-2, 2-1, and 1-2 for Riperoni.
I honestly think Riperoni wins this category. And I think by that metric, I think Riperoni's won the fight by a narrow point.
My final total for that is 6-5 Riperoni.
Alrighty then.
The last fight we're looking at tonight.
Two robots known for putting on fantastic duels.
I don't think this will ever not be a classic.
I'm really excited to see how this breaks down.
No one told him the tag is sticking up on his shirt.
They don't want to drop the weapon yet. But there it... Ooh!
Holds him. Gets his hit nice and calculated. Good little counter shots.
Minotaur, he's getting some hits here, but he's getting controlled.
Bit of a misfire there, but he's got a nice lineup and a big gash in the bottom of Minotaur.
There's the smoke starting. There it is. He's cooking. We got another Brazilian bonfire.
A lot of smoke coming out of the back of Minotaur. Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze, shout out to him.
Minotaur's getting bullied around the box. It's taking hits it can't afford to take. Right on cue, there's the billowy smoke.
I think the difference will be how many times does Sawblaze use the dustpan and how many times does he use the weapon. Because remember, active weapon. Great shot from Minotaur.
You gotta give credit to Minotaur, still fighting back. Another big shot by Minotaur.
Yeah, he gets a couple of good hits here. The actual saw is toaster at this point.
Good little double combo there from Minotaur, and then a great response from Sawblaze using the forks.
Definitely mounted a commanding comeback. My dogs are very excited about that.
And Minotaur's still pushing him and pushing him hard. Like, Sawblaze has had control for most of the fight, and Sawblaze is not backing down from the engagement, so I don't think it's losing aggression here.
Look at how, like, charred the back of Minotaur is. It has been cooking for, like, 2 minutes.
He's doing what you gotta do in a situation like this, where you gotta run the clock. You can't take more damage.
The fire, I think, may be consuming Minotaur. It has been an absolute slugfest.
If Minotaur was able to drive at this point, I think he could have snuck off by now.
I think that's probably all she wrote here.
An absolute thriller there. That was one of the best fights of the season, I'd say. And that's going to be just another hard one to judge. I mean, all three of these have been brutal to judge.
In order for this fight to continue, Minotaur has to move a bit, and if he moves a bit, I definitely believe Sawblaze comes in again. He wouldn't be able to land a shot with the hammer saw, but he would be able to run him into the screws again.
Like, damage, probably, like...
I think damage is pretty cut and dry.
I'd say it's probably... Maybe,
I think it's still another...
you might be able to argue 3-2.
I think still another 3-2.
So despite being on fire, Minotaur still can drive perfectly. Well,
Sawblaze got its forks bent up a lot, and its weapon died.
that whole weapon, that ain't moving. It ain't swinging, it ain't spinning, but he is winning.
Both bots lost their weapons. Both bots had drive, assuming that Minotaur gets off the screws and is still able to drive.
I don't think it's enough to say 4-1 because Minotaur did do significant damage to Sawblaze.
I think damage should go to Sawblaze 3-2.
3-2 damage for Sawblaze, because, like, big gout of fire.
That's the problem with this video idea. We've got some cloudiness. We have to fill in the gap of the story.
Sawblaze and Minotaur are both very aggressive robots in nature. They both drove rather aggressively this fight.
In my notes, the count of weapon hits.
Sawblaze was able to use its weapon less, albeit when it did use it, it was very effective.
Is 19-13 in favor of Minotaur.
I'm not sure that just counting individual strikes with weapon is the way to go to say, oh, this bot was more aggressive.
Of Sawblaze's 13 successful attacks, however you want to describe it, 5 were him pushing Minotaur into hazards, 3 were just pushing into the spiked walls.
I think he only got 2 or 3 big shots with the hammer saw.
Or 8 of the 13 were not the hammer saw.
Minotaur probably used its weapon more liberally.
They've been getting pushed around a bunch. They got a few good hits and they took the weapon out.
They got a bunch of big pops on Sawblaze, and they never really stopped using their weapon until they physically couldn't anymore.
Minotaur's drum hitting Sawblaze's fork. I don't know what the to call that.
Like, it's definitely a closer fight in the second half.
Because it's Minotaur's weapon that's doing the hit. It's an attack with an active weapon. So I feel like, when in doubt, that should lean towards him.
Scoops and pins will come on in the next category, but I think that Minotaur's usage of its weapon, some of the big counter shots, and
even considering these wild card factors, it was still 19-13 Minotaur.
crippling shots that it got earlier on the weapon and the forks probably won at aggression very narrowly.
I think aggression, yeah, 2-1. 2-1 in favor of Sawblaze.
So I'm giving him 2-1 aggression.
I hesitate to give out a 3-0 control score, but
Sawblaze, even when the weapon died, even after the weapon died, it kept cornering and pinning Minotaur, and it pinned it on the screws.
He scooped up Minotaur, he drove him into walls and hazards, he held him there, and at times used the hammer saw.
2-1 doesn't feel like enough points for Sawblaze.
That is exactly what the control category is epitomizing.
Minotaur, very spirited effort. You can't really knock them for that, but I think they come just short because Sawblaze was so good at controlling in this fight.
Sawblaze is commanding for almost the entire fight.
it can't be 3-0 because not only is it hard to get 3-0,
3-0 control.
Minotaur had good moments. Anytime he got shots, he was winning control as well. You can't be in control when you're flying in the air like Sawblaze was.
That's a questionable 3-0 on control.
It really did what it wanted for Minotaur for the majority of the fight. Minotaur got a bunch of good counter shots in the middle, but they didn't last nearly as long as Sawblaze's moments of control.
2 on the Sawblaze, and that brings my total to 6-5 Sawblaze.
But I think that Sawblaze will clean this one with a 6-5.
So 3 unanimous results at least, we all agreed on that, but we did change one result, with Riperoni being the winner against Black Dragon. If you could change one result and just, flip it around entirely, the other bot wins, and from there the tournament happens a different way, which fight would you change? I think personally I would have picked Riperoni to beat Black Dragon. It would have been nice to see that Cinderella story go on a little bit longer. It wasn't to be, of course. Black Dragon just always keeps on kicking, it seems like. I don't know what his secret is. Maybe we should take out the duck. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. Lets us know that this was a good idea to make. Check out some of our other content. There's some other judges' decisions on the channel that we've covered from Season 7, but a different style, so let me know which one you like better. And then, of course, subscribe, because you found this, you liked this, you might like the other stuff, and there's going to be more stuff on the other side of this upload that you might like too. So stick around. It's good-ish. It's not bias. I think. Subscribe.